And second speaker is Afzal Hussein. Mr. Afzal Hussein is a teaching assistant at Swinburne University of Technology of Sarawak from Malaysia. He's also a Sharia scholar, inshallah. With the technical, he will assist us also speak on Sharia matters, rulings, issues with Islamic cryptocurrencies, and inshallah give some perspectives on future technologies of digital technologies of usage of Islamic cryptocurrencies. And the third speaker is Mr. Fahad Siddiqui from United Kingdom. He's a founder of Al Mabruk cryptocurrency project. Inshallah, you're welcome, dear guest speakers. So the first webinar, the first question I will address to Mr. Mufti Fares Adam. So I think he's prepared his presentation today, inshallah. We are waiting for you, inshallah. And after your presentations, if you will have some questions, we will address the questions to our speaker, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you all today, and I'd like to thank the organizers for arranging this event, this auspicious program, and for inviting me to share some thoughts. So for the next 10 minutes or so whilst I speak, I just want to share thoughts on the topic itself, and let's really drill into crypto, right? As a concept from a Sharia perspective, as well as share how we see crypto and the industry, right, from a Sharia perspective. Now, the first things first, I personally, I'm not really fond of the word cryptocurrencies, right? Cryptocurrencies is a misnomer. What do I mean by that? Many of these cryptos don't function as currencies whatsoever, right? And that's why whenever we at Facet, we talk about crypto, we don't use the word cryptocurrencies. Rather, we look at it from a digital assets perspective, right? Because the main thing is, from a Sharia perspective, is when you're buying and selling something, it has to be something that adds real world value. From a Sharia perspective, what is an asset? That's the first question, and that's the first thing we need to understand. Right? An asset is something which has real world value, meaning it makes a real difference, a tangible difference, and gives real utility to the owner of the asset. So, for instance, you have a chair that I'm sitting on right now and speaking. This chair, while I hold on to it, it's giving me actual utility and benefit, right? It's giving me real, genuine utility and benefit. Or I have my laptop. I'm using that to derive general utility and actual benefit, right?
Yes.
Whereas if you're looking at cryptos, many cryptos are simply speculated and traded. Now somebody may make the argument, yeah, well, they're used as money or they're currencies. That's how they've been designed. Many currencies or cryptos out there, they've been invented in somebody's bedroom, right? And they've just launched it online. They've done an ICO. They've written a flashy white paper with beautiful things mentioned, many promises, and they've just floated that crypto and have promised big things to happen with that project, right? Now, what is a currency from a Sharia perspective and even from an economic perspective? A currency came, or money came, to resolve the problem that's known as, in economics, as the double coincidence of wants, which means that you had a person who had leather, but he needed barley. So he would have to go in the market, find somebody who has, number one, has barley, and number two, they want leather as well. Only then can the exchange take place. If he can't find somebody who wants leather and has barley, then he can't make an exchange. And so money was, like, Allah revealed money, this idea of having money and currency, because you no longer needed to find somebody who needed your good. Rather, you just give them money and you can acquire the asset, the body that you wanted. So money acted like a bridge between what the other person has and what you need. This was the medium of exchange. And that is what money is. And that's what currency is. Now, all these cryptocurrencies that are traded and speculated on exchanges, they don't serve that purpose. It's somebody who's sitting at home saying, today, yeah, I'll buy this crypto. Hopefully, it's going to go up in value. Or tomorrow, I'll make 100x on this currency. But that is not a currency from a Sharia perspective whatsoever. That's why at Facet, we take a very, conservative Sharia approach. We make sure that our approach to the crypto space and the digital asset space is truly aligned with Sharia principles. We're not there to we're not offering casino tokens to people, right? Or speculative assets. No, the investments and the opportunities and the real potential in the technology that's there, it has value, but the asset itself must add value as well. They must be making a real difference in the world to people. And normally when we see, we had an amazing discussion once with the CEO Rafi Hussain, right? Muhammad Rafi Hussain, and he said something unique, which really I think is worth sharing. And he said, look, crypto for the developed world, it's a luxury. But for the emerging markets, it's a necessity, right? Crypto for the developed world is just another asset class. They have tons of asset classes. But think about the emerging markets, right? There's so many barriers for them to trade. That's why a person in an emerging market, he may be owning an Apple iPhone, but he can't invest in Apple stock. You see the kind of like inequality that exists in the world. You're using the product, you have the product, but you can't invest in the company, right? Because you don't have access. And that's why one of the greatest promises that real, genuine digital assets bring is access. It brings the ability for people in emerging markets to save, to invest, to grow their portfolio, to be able to have remittance services, to be able to save and hedge against currency inflation. Because many countries, as we know, are going through hyperinflation, some going through severe inflation. A person, he works 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, there's no point saving for him. If he saves his money for the long term, his money will lose all value, right? And therefore, certain digital assets, for instance, you have your Bitcoin, that can serve as an amazing hedge, or your USDT, USDC, which are pegged to the US dollar. That would help in an amazing way for people in emerging markets to be able to hedge against inflation. And that's where we see the utility of these digital assets. But coming back to my initial point, right? Not everything that's a crypto or available to trade is Sharia compliant. Just because you can buy something and sell something doesn't make it Sharia compliant. Right? And that's very, very important because Sharia looks at the asset. How is it adding a positive benefit to people? It must be adding a genuine utility. If it's not adding a genuine utility, then from a Sharia perspective, it's nothing. You're just speculating and betting. And that's why at Facet, we have this very, very core and key focus on selecting our portfolio, and the digital assets we have are very they've been curated and selected very precisely after we do a screening of the assets. So we'll screen the digital asset from a Sharia perspective, from an economic perspective, from a real world perspective. Is it really adding value to the person? Does this really make a difference? Or are people just betting and speculating using this particular token? If it's betting and speculating, then it's not something that we would be interested in. And to finish off just my section up here and then hand it over to the esteemed moderator and the panelists, the beauty of digital assets and crypto. I would say one of the key things from a Sharia and Islamic finance perspective is when we talk about riba, right? Riba is interest, as we know, and more. Riba is a whole, it's the one of the key prohibited philosophical ideas from a Sharia perspective and in Islamic finance. The idea of riba. We translate it as interest, but there's so much more to riba, right? There's a whole evil philosophy in riba, right, which is prohibited. Now, what does riba represent? Riba represents a deep-seated inequality. That's what riba is. It's driven by capital concentration and where assets are held by the few. That's what promotes riba, where there's concentration of capital with a few people. They own everything. They control, they own, they have assets, they have access. The rest don't own assets. They are in need. That creates this kind of divide and this inequality, this imbalance that you see. Because assets, ownership, access are with the few, not the many. And so at Facet, what we're doing is we're democratizing asset ownership and access so that riba, we're directly eliminating and curbing riba. Because when you have ownership with a few, there's an imbalance in power. And when you have access limited to a few, then again, they're the gatekeepers of everything. Whereas what digital assets allows is it allows a democratizing ownership. That's the first thing. And second thing, digital assets allow access to the world. Hence, somebody on the other side of the world in an emerging market can own the same assets that a person in the UK or the US owns. Now you're bringing balance and equality in the world. That's sustainable development because everybody has opportunity. Now everybody in the world can grow. And why is that? That is a good thing. Because if somebody from another country invests in the same asset that I'm investing in, we all benefit. Because in Islam and Sharia, investing is about co-creating value. It's winning together. Every transaction or investment in Sharia is about you either win together or lose together. There is no zero-sum game in Islam. If there's any zero-sum game where one party wins at the expense of the other, that's not permissible. That's gambling. Gambling is an example of a zero-sum game. So if we all grow together, we all work together, we all win together, right? And that's the philosophy we have at Facet. And I'd like to end with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mufti Faraz. The second, the presentation is, are you presenting also, giving a presentation, or it will be after the second speakers? Who is presenting today also? I think the presentation should be prepared, or we will continue with the second speaker, right? The second question, Afzal Hussein, I will address the Q&A question, which is mainly we wanted to discuss the difference between the Islamic cryptocurrencies in detail. What is the Islamic cryptocurrency and difference from conventional cryptocurrency? What is the features? And should it be an asset backed, or should it be backed to gold assets? So the second question, if possible, dear Afzal, we address to you. What is the main features of the Islamic cryptocurrencies? Can we say that Islamic cryptocurrency is something which is more stable, which is more less correlated with political situations in the market, and maybe more correlated with gold prices and digital assets? Actually, the cryptocurrency tokens. What is the halal way of doing cryptocurrency tokens and cryptocurrency? Can we address this question, dear Afzal?
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Just give me just a couple of seconds. Let me open my slides for you. so that it is easier for everyone to
Okay. As you know, recently, since 2021, the market, the cryptocurrency market grows rapidly in the world. As you know, one of the first countries which has adopted Bitcoin cryptocurrency was El Salvador, and the second country was Central African Republic. So these countries has officially adopted the bills which allows you to use a cryptocurrency as a mean of exchange to buy goods and buy and sell goods and services in the country. And it seems to me that some of the Islamic countries like Qatar has recently they send also their delegation from monetary authority of Qatar to monitor the El Salvador's experience in development of cryptocurrency market. So does it mean that the next countries who will in future adopt the cryptocurrency will be some Muslim, maybe Islamic economic countries with Islamic economy? And
there's some issue with my screen sharing. I'll just proceed with my normal one. Okay.
okay.
Just a minute. Okay. To just continue. I'm just opening it. Just give me just a few seconds. I think now I should be able to share my screen. Can you see my slides on the screen?
Yes.
So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting a very short presentation on my empirical findings on Islamic cryptocurrency, particularly gold-backed cryptocurrencies and conventional cryptocurrencies. So these are the four learning outcomes that we are going to learn after successfully completing this session. First, we'll be looking at the concept of cryptocurrencies. I know most of us are here, most of the attendees here, they are well aware, they are well knowledgeable on the cryptocurrencies, but I'll touch up on that just to give it a good flow. Then I'll just move on to issues that are relating to conventional cryptocurrencies, for which there's a need for Islamic cryptocurrencies. And then we'll look on how Islamic cryptocurrencies they are different from their conventional counterparts. And then lastly, we will see how Islamic cryptocurrency and the sustainability, they merge together. And finally, we'll look up on some empirical evidences. So basically, the concept of cryptocurrency, as we know, that the cryptocurrency, they are digital currencies, as Mufti Faraz just now mentioned, that they are virtual currencies. We cannot see, we cannot touch them like we can see our money, we can see our coins. So the tangible assets, this is not tangible. So this is just a virtual currency, which is decentralized. The main features that is highlighted in promoting cryptocurrency is that it is decentralized. So there is no authority on it. No one can control it. So now one question might arise that how the prices of cryptocurrencies are determined. So the cryptocurrencies, the price of cryptocurrencies are basically determined based on the market force, based on the demand and the supply of cryptocurrencies. The more supply, the less price it will be. The more demand and the less supply, the price will go up. So finally, and then second one is that they are secured. Since cryptocurrencies, they operate on blockchain technology, which is a very secured. So from that perspective, cryptocurrencies are considered very secured, unlike the conventional banking system, which where we see that they get hacked sometimes. So from that perspective, cryptocurrencies are more secure than the conventional monetary system ones. Third one, they are transparent, meaning to say they operate on open ledger, public ledger system. So everyone can see who is working on what and what is the outcome of that activity. And then number four is the anonymity, meaning to say the users of cryptocurrency, they can be pseudonymous. They can prevent their identity from others. And the last one is the global accessibility. As Mufti Faraj, he just mentioned, that one of the major benefits of using cryptocurrency is you can use cryptocurrency from any parts of the world. The same cryptocurrency you can use from any parts of the world without any geographical borders. For example, now if I have a British pound, I cannot use that British pound in United States. I cannot use this British pound in other parts of the world. So meaning to say, the conventional currency system, they are limited by the geographical borders, but for cryptocurrency, they are not limited by the geographical borders. So examples of cryptocurrencies, well-known cryptocurrencies are Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and so on. So
sorry,
now,
Dr. Abdul, sorry for
yeah.
the interruption. I would just like to draw your attention that for the presenters, just check the question and answer icon, because we are getting a lot of questions. So I would like you all to just check them and answer the question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. We will address those questions, I think, to our speakers after the presentation, inshallah.
Yeah. After the presentation, inshallah. Okay, so what are the main issues about relating to conventional cryptocurrencies? First one is the volatile. They are very much volatile, as Mufti Faraj just mentioned, that sometimes cryptocurrencies, they are speculative, so you don't know what you are doing. So as you mentioned earlier at the beginning of his speech, that someone might create a cryptocurrency from his bedroom with a white paper, and then people can use it without just knowing what is the background of that cryptocurrency and what is the existence and how it was created. So from that perspective, conventional cryptocurrencies are also very much volatile, since they are empirically found that they are more speculative. They are used as speculative actions. So a second one is the regulatory concern. Since cryptocurrencies, they are virtual, and then they are used in some speculative actions. So it is very much difficult for the regulatory authorities to track, to trace, and to control those transactions and those activities relating to conventional cryptocurrencies. And finally, is the lack of Sharia compliance. As we know that to be Sharia compliance, it has to eliminate the speculative actions or the speculative natures. So from conventional cryptocurrencies perspective, it is very much difficult, or it is nearly impossible to eliminate the speculative actions. And then there's also anonymity. So from all those, keeping all those things, it is very much difficult to comply with the Sharia perspective. So here you can see some of the examples of volatility of conventional cryptocurrencies. On my top right, I have the Bitcoin. So you can see the price fluctuations of Bitcoin for the past 1 month. And on my on my bottom right, I have a price of Ethereum, where you can see the past 1 month, the price fluctuations is very much high. Similarly, if you look on the left side of the slide, you can see the Binance Coin. So these are basically the 3 top cryptocurrencies, conventional ones, which I picked just for illustration purposes. So you can see also the price fluctuations are very high. So from that perspective, conventional cryptocurrencies are considered as very much volatile. There's a problem with it. So how Islamic cryptocurrencies, they can be a solution for investors in cryptocurrency markets. So the first thing that is followed by Islamic cryptocurrencies, that they follow the Islamic screening, Islamic Sharia screening, which meaning to say they are not using these speculative actions. They are backed by assets, which is real assets like real gold, US dollars currency. So they are backed by real assets. They prohibit the transactions of riba. They prohibit these speculative natures. So from those perspectives, Islamic cryptocurrencies, they can be addressed as more different than the conventional counterparts, and they can be used as a solution for cryptocurrency landscape. So what Islamic cryptocurrency they aims to do? So they aims to provide financial solution for Muslim communities, and for those who want to align their investment, for those who want to align their investment into Islamic sphere. So Islamic cryptocurrencies can be considered a very good option for them who are considering on investing in cryptocurrencies. Some of the examples of Islamic cryptocurrency can be 1 gram, Hello Gold, Infinity Gold, and there are many others of Islamic cryptocurrencies in the market right now. How Islamic cryptocurrencies, they align with the sustainability goal. So how do they align with this economic perspective? From economic perspective, they can be used for cross-border transactions. As we say that cryptocurrencies, they are not bordered by any geopolitical area, so they can be used as any transactions from any part of the world. And then they can be used for investment options. Since we see investing in gold, the return from investing in gold is very slow and very less. But on the other side, investing in cryptocurrencies, they are considered empirically, they are found that their investment in cryptocurrencies, they have better return than investing in real assets. Then innovation and entrepreneurship. Islamic cryptocurrencies, they open avenues for more developments in the financial technology area. And as we are moving to this digital era, so Islamic cryptocurrencies can be a good option for this innovation and entrepreneurship. Then finally, philanthropy and zakat. Basically, from more Islamic perspective, if a digital currency can be considered as a currency, then it can be used for this zakat payment and other social activities and other social donation also. So the main issues relating to conventional cryptocurrencies is they are not termed as a currency. So for that, conventional cryptocurrencies cannot be used as those social activities or payment of zakat. But if Islamic cryptocurrencies, if they pass the Sharia screening, so they can be used for these philanthropic activities and zakat activities. And finally, the environmental impact of those Islamic cryptocurrencies. Since we know that conventional cryptocurrencies, they need to be mined, so they operate on proof of work basis. So proof of work basis requires extensive amount of energy. So they finally, in terms, they contribute to greenhouse emission and this global warming also. But on the other side, Islamic cryptocurrencies, they work on proof of stake basis. So from that perspective, Islamic cryptocurrencies and other currencies that are backed by assets, they are considered as relatively and less energy consuming, and they're more energy efficient, and thus they contribute to this environmental impact also. So here I just put 2 slides on the empirical evidences of cryptocurrencies, conventional and asset-backed cryptocurrencies. These are the 2 cryptocurrencies that I choose to demonstrate this in this session. First one is X8X, and the second one is Hello Gold. So we can see that we are comparing Bitcoin and those 2 gold-backed cryptocurrencies. So from those 2 plots, we can see there are visibly difference between those two cryptocurrencies. So in terms, we can say that conventional cryptocurrencies and asset-backed or gold-backed or Islamic cryptocurrencies, they are different than the conventional counterparts. Similarly, if you see with the intersection with Ethereum, we can also see they react differently, even though they are positively correlated with their conventional counterparts, but they react differently from their conventional counterparts. If they used to react similarly with the conventional counterparts, we would have seen more yellow plots all over the diagrams here. But since we see blue areas also, blue regions, which indicates that there are some diversification benefits, diversification options from investing into Islamic cryptocurrencies against the conventional cryptocurrencies. Finally, we can say that since Islamic cryptocurrencies, they are very new yet, so it is very hard to conclude at this moment on the feasibility of the usage in terms of financial landscape. So there is a need for more extensive research in the future on Islamic cryptocurrencies. How do they perform and how do they align with the basic principles of Islamic Sharia and Islamic currency? So there is a need for more extensive research in the future. And we find that based on my empirical evidence, I've shown that they react differently. They act differently than their conventional counterparts. And lastly, there's some empirical evidence which shows that Islamic cryptocurrencies, they are less affected by the exogenous factors such as economical policy uncertainty, geopolitical risk. So they are less affected by those exogenous factors due to their backing of assets, real assets. So they promote their stability. Unlike their conventional counterparts, since they doesn't have any backing assets, so they are more volatile. But for Islamic cryptocurrencies, since they're backed by assets, so even though due to some external events, they are still able to maintain their stability. So this is all from my side.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Syed Muaz Shah asking, please discuss the Gharar element in crypto and how Islamic fiqh navigates the ephemeral realm of digital currency. So as we know, the cryptocurrencies are highly speculative and risky assets and often associated with gambling or gharar. So how Islamic cryptocurrencies overcome such elements? I think this question, we will address to you. Yeah, can you answer the question, Mr.
Is this for me?
Yes, Mr. Afzal. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, could please tell the question again?
Yes, please discuss the Gharar element in crypto and how Islamic fiqh navigates the ephemeral realm of digital currency.
Actually, I'm not familiar with since this is not my area of expertise on these Gharar elements. So it is very hard to come to a conclusion on this at this moment from my side. Yeah.
Okay, we can address this question to Mufti Faras.
Can have a better answer on that.
Yes.
For sure. Happy to address this question. So look, what's gharar? Gharar from a Sharia perspective is uncertainty in a contract, right? Just because there is uncertainty in the price of something doesn't mean there's gharar. Every investment, there's uncertainty in the outcome. I can invest in a business, I can invest in shares. I don't know the outcome of that investment in 1 year's time. So that's not gharar in Sharia. When gharar we say is prohibited, we mean when the contractual obligations are uncertain. For example, the contract does not specify when, how, or where I will pay you. That's gharar. Or will you deliver the asset to me? How will you deliver the asset to me? Or the delivery is contingent on the weather. I say I'll only deliver to you tomorrow if it's sunny. If it's raining, then there's no delivery. That's gharar, right? Because now there's uncertainty in the contractual obligations. So the idea of gharar, of uncertainty, doesn't apply in crypto. Yes, speculation, volatility, that's a different matter. It's not a gharar. Okay. Now, the second part of the question is ephemeral kind of existence of crypto. The way to understand that is from a Sharia perspective, we are not bound to only buy, sell tangible assets. Anything which can add value to you, whether it's in the real world or the digital world, right? That can be sold. Hence, ebooks. We buy and sell ebooks, PDFs. These are not tangible assets, yet they have a utility. So the focus is not on tangibility, but utility. The utility does not have to be in the tangible world, it can be in the intangible world. That's why now in business, we recognize intangible assets. Okay. And so it's all about coming back to what we all discussed earlier, the utility, the benefit, regardless of which realm it exists in, the real world or the digital world. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, this question has been answered. So I think if you have more questions, please write in answer and questions section. We will answer in the chat box. And the third, if you don't have questions, I will forward speech to our third speaker, Mr. Fahad Siddiqui. The question is, we know about a lot of gold-backed cryptocurrencies now available in the market and Islamic markets, and how you evaluate these kind of asset classes. Is it really Islamic, and what are the distinctive features which available in these cryptocurrencies? Should these cryptocurrencies be adopted by Sharia scholars, or should these projects has in the board Sharia board members, or audited by well-known audit companies in the world? So what is actually the gold-backed cryptocurrencies features? Why they are deemed as halal or Sharia compliant? And can you also explain the future of these kind of cryptocurrencies? Can these cryptocurrencies be one Islamic cryptocurrency in the future, maybe, which is will be adopted by all the markets in Islamic economic system? Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Daniels. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So it's a very good question, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to everyone. And I'm so happy to see Mufti Farhad and Brother Afzal also sharing the knowledge. So, so gold is just one of the asset classes. We have so many asset classes in the real world. It could be real estate, it could be commodities, it could be, as Sheikh mentioned, it could be intangible asset. Let's say if we are doing securitization and we have a credit fund and we would want to tokenize it, we can have its own cryptocurrency. Now, I want to be very careful when I say cryptocurrency, because anything which is asset backed is not a currency itself per se. It's just a share, it's just a digital representation of the share itself. Now, whether that share can be traded, yes, of course. Just like we know in the stock market, I can go ahead and then sell my share to you, and you can sell it to Mufti Farhad, for example. Same analogy applies in the digital world. Whether can we use it as a currency? That really depends. So we have so many blockchain ecosystem which exist today, starting from Bitcoin Lightning Network to the Polygon, which Mabruk is using. We have so many platforms. Now, if let's say we arrive into an Islamic blockchain platform, right? The blockchain itself, the network, and then the network says that if you hold any crypto asset, I can also accept it as a medium of the currency. So maybe we can also use that in the form of currency. But at its core, anything which is real world asset, we can go and we can tokenize it. When we say tokenize, it means they are digital shares in form of tokens. And of course, why we are even tokenizing it, what is the need, why we cannot do it in the Web 2 world, which exists today? Like, it's just because the moment you tokenize anything on the blockchain, as Mufti Fraz Adam and Brother Afzal also have explained, that it becomes transparent, it becomes immutable, everybody knows what is happening. It is not like, for example, Facebook or Apple. Apple is not a good example, but takes an example of Facebook or Spotify. We don't know what is their underlying revenue. We don't know what is going on there. It's all speculative. So having an asset, we know what is their performance. And the other question you asked, that what about the due diligence and the screening and how it can become Islamic and what is the role of Sharia board? Just like Alhamdulillah, in Mabruk, we have two Sharia board member, Mufti Ismail Desai and Mufti Yusuf Sultan. What we do is that we are still in stages of rollout. So the first asset we are going to tokenize, it has to go to the Sharia screening. So there is a, just like in Islamic Bank, where if we are, let's say, onboarding any business or onboarding even any individual, we are doing KYC, we are doing AML checks. If it is a company, then the directors AML KYC checks are done. When we know here they pass the KYC and AML, then it goes to the credit bureau, credit policy unit, right? Or credit underwriting unit. So just similar to that, we have third party who are going to scrutinize the asset, the health of the asset, you know, in all from all the direction, like who is holding the asset, who are the owners, and what Mabruk would like to do with this asset. Then once that is screened, then it goes to the Sharia itself for the review that okay, this is the finding, this is the report, and now we need you to scrutinize the numbers. And when they review the numbers, if everything is okay, they sanction it. Then it will be turned on the Mabruk, and then it will be tokenized. So I believe that is same with any company, as Sheikh also mentioned. First, it also follows that. So that's how we arrive that okay, this is now Sharia compliant, and we are able to offer the security or the token or the digital shares to the market.
Thank you. I have another question regarding the is there any possible in the future opportunities to use Islamic cryptocurrencies for development of humanitarian aid to the regions where there is a big need for humanitarian aid and support from different countries of Islamic world? Is it possible to use Islamic cryptocurrencies and platforms to help and to deliver the humanitarian aid? This is, for example, this question is arisen when I was working in Malaysia in CIMB Islamic. There was I've checked some prospects of from Bloomberg of prospects of different bonds, and conventional bonds, and I've checked that there was bonds issued in New York Stock Exchange to support the Israeli railroads, the Israeli infrastructure. So it was really interesting for us to know that Israel has built a lot of infrastructure projects using New York Stock Exchange, using such kind of securities like bonds, which are not Sharia compliant. But Islamic financial system also has alternative, and can we use maybe these instruments and tools to develop the humanitarian aid to the regions like Palestine?
Yes,
Is
you're
it
absolutely right. So it is possible. Of course, we have sukuks, and sukuks are there in the market, in the traditional market for so long time. We see them on the primary, we see them on the secondary market as well today. So the sukuk itself are securities, and they can be also tokenized, and it can be tokenized on the blockchain. It can be transparent, and anybody who wants to invest, they can invest directly. The good thing is that since it will be on the blockchain, and I always explain to anyone I meet, and this is something I have learned also. When I started blockchain, it was like a very complex uh, uh, kind of a mechanics I face, but blockchain is nothing but it's just like your computer hard drive. Now, what you write on your hard drive, how you want to program blockchain is going to work like that. So the only difference is that in the program, what we do is that when we create logic, it just follows that logic. In blockchain, you can just, it's like a plus of that. So you can extend that using a smart contract. So smart contract can have external inputs, and based on the inputs, it can drive, and it can mint a token, it can manage a token, it can transfer the token. So that's the plus we have on the blockchain. So it's really on us what we would like to do with that.
Yes, sure.
I have it's a quick presentation, brother. If you give me permission, I can just go quickly through it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, let me hold on. Let me maybe give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up. Okay, let me know and everybody see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I would want to start with a very basic question everybody have, which I at least face is um, if, for example, what Mabruk is doing, or if it is a security token, uh, what is the difference between that security token and the utility token? And what is the difference between Mabruk and, let's say, a Bitcoin, or Mabruk with the meme coin or Dogecoin, right? This is the question I always face. So I just want everybody, all the participant, to understand that there are so many forms of currencies. So I just mentioned here 1 to 5, but there can be we can come up with the combination of 10 more here, right? Um, so for, the basic, whatever currency we talk about and think about, 99% will fall into this category. First will be the platform coins, which are nothing but they are currency of the ecosystem. So let's say Bitcoin. It is a currency I can use in the Bitcoin, but the moment I move from Bitcoin to Ethereum, Ethereum will not identify Bitcoin as a currency. So in the Bitcoin community, I can exchange it, but in the Ethereum, I cannot. So that's what platform currency looks like. Now, the question would be, is it a secured asset, or is backed by any real world asset? The answer is no. So tomorrow, if somebody pulls the plug off, there's no tangible asset I can go and discharge, for example. Then we have transaction coins. So they are kind of a platform coin, but they're kind of a plus plus. So transaction coin I can use to do transaction. So let's say a remittance. If I want to do a remittance transaction, again, I can. The good example is USDT. I can buy a USDT, transfer it to somebody else, and that other blockchain will identify USDT as a medium of currency, or a real, a e-token or electronic money, and then transaction could happen in between. Then we have the utility token. Let's say BNB and Uniswap. Those utility token I can use to do many things in the platform. Maybe it's a reward-based utility token, whether it could be something like if I'm doing transaction, first I need to show a Uniswap token before I convert into Ethereum. So those are kind of a utility token. They serve some purpose, some utilities there in the blockchain it operates. Then we have the security token. This is where I think Mufti Frazana was also pointing, and Brother Afzal was also pointing, and this is where Mabruk also comes in. That security tokens have two types. One is the investment token, and one is the um, security token as well. So investment token is more into crux of the security. So if we are securitizing a sukuk, for example, it could be a security token, but investment token could be something where I'm directly investing. So there's a very minor difference, but they come into the umbrella of security token. They are backed by the real world asset, or it could be intangible asset as well. It could be like a sukuk on a trading market. Um, from the Sharia point of view, when Mabruk started about 1.5+ year back, when we were discussing it with our Sharia board, they asked us to comply with they can only allow us to do asset-backed tokens. So this is where in Mabruk we are very strict about any token we are going to mint will be tied to some asset. So they don't allow us to have any tokens on the ecosystem which is not tying up to the asset. And then the last we have governance token. They are none above, but they kind of allow us to uh, um, uh, think of it like the ICO. If I do ICO of Mabruk and I say Daniel have 30% of my token, then he can also exercise that token as his stake in the ownership. And then if I want to do any changes in the ecosystem, then Daniel will have the voting right up to the 30%. So this is where governance token comes. So it's like a policy making. Think of it like a national assembly. So those are kind of tokens we have. And if there are any question we can take on. I also want to touch on the the potential of the blockchain to our world. Now we were discussing in this forum about what is Sharia compliant, what is not Sharia compliant, what should I do, what should I not do. But let me just change the point of view. Now we are talking about the Islamic finance industry from the practicing side. So the industry stand today at 4.5 to 4.7 trillion assets. We have 1,600 banks across the globe, roughly. So, and the first bank where I used to work, the Islamic Bank, started in 1974. So industry I would say that it's still evolving a lot. But let's say if we try to use the blockchain infrastructure, I want to emphasize that how this infrastructure can really propel the improvement, or how it can also increase the assets we have. So if you see on the left side, if you see on the left side, we have so many off-chain world. As an example, you gave us, Brother Nair, we have gold, then we have real estate, when we have stocks, right? They are lying outside today. So we have traditional Islamic assets which are lying outside the blockchain world, or we call it, the terminology we call it off-chain. So anything which is out of blockchain today, could be gold, could be diamond, could be commodity, could be sukuk, could be real estate. Anything which is outside the blockchain, we call it off-chain. Anything which becomes on-chain, let's say tomorrow we tokenize gold, real estate, and sukuk, and we put it on Mabruk or Facet on the blockchain somehow, and we tokenize those. Those assets are there in physical term, but their representation of the ownership now is tokenized. So they are on blockchain world. So if we keep doing that, if we keep pushing all those, that means we, as Mufti Frazadam rightly said, that we are going towards inclusion, financial inclusion. Yesterday, I could not buy a house or a piece of land, right? Or I could not own a gold bar. But now, as community, I can buy the gold bar as with as low as $10 or $100. I can have a piece of real estate owned by me with $100 or one token representation, and whatever that asset generates, then everybody get the profit out of it. So that's I think the sweet spot. And the good thing is that in traditional Islamic bank, we have intermediary where we have to incur some expense. So let's say if we are transacting, if I want to send money from Dubai Islamic Bank to, let's say, CIMB Malaysia, then there is a SWIFT in middle, all right? And then I have to pay for the SWIFT fee. I have to wait for a settlement to happen, maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, or 3 days. But the good thing is that when it comes to the blockchain, token can be settled in near 0 seconds. So we call it T+0. So settlement can happen, and the cost of that is so significant, like it's so low. On Polygon, it's like it's near 2 cents or 5 cents. So this is, I think, not only we are just moving the assets to the chain for the sake of tokenization, but the underlying operating cost is also decreased. So the business operating cost has also decreased. So that's the second benefit. And the third benefit, we know that everything is transparent. I can go and I can check my ownership. You can go and you can check my ownership. And on top of it, we can also have something called zero knowledge KYC. If I don't want to share my KYC information with any other network or blockchain or bank, the blockchain can verify me that, okay, yeah, this is Fahad, and we take the guarantee because everybody trusts on the blockchain and the transaction could happen. So I just want to emphasize, and then there are some numbers because human, we are prone to know numbers. So there are some numbers by McKinsey. They are indicating by 2030 around 26 trillion of the assets will be on chain. And then BCG Boston is saying 16 trillion will be there, but we are talking about trillions. Now we come into the market we navigate, the Islamic finance market we navigate, then we have so many off-chain assets today. So we have agriculture. So imagine, a farmer in Kenya, a farmer in Indonesia or Pakistan. We can bring them into the main chain, main on-net, and they are able to relay their commodity, whatever they are growing, and we can have a third-party valuator to evaluate it, and we tokenize it. Similarly, I'm in Brazil nowadays, so we have halal meat export. So the 30% of the Brazilian meat exported is all halal meat, which are consumed by the Gulf and other nations. So think about that somebody sitting in Dubai or Saudi can buy a share, ownership share of the meat or poultry farm in Brazil. So we are trying to take the intermediary out, but we are the consumer and the business, they are now direct in a seamless way, in a transparent way, right? And then we have so many things like real estate, we have precious metal, energy, we can tokenize. Anything can be tokenized. I will not go into all this details here. Maybe I will share this slide with you, and you can share it with the participant. But a couple of things in the order of priority I see, and maybe Mufti Fazil Azam can also guide us. But I think the priority for us is more on the debt and the equity side to tokenize. Once we do it, we are covering the securities, we are covering the real world asset like a car, a house. And then I think the transformation from there will be more into interesting use cases of having our own, let's say, central bank digital currency. The moment the CBDC comes into play, I think the blockchain evolution will go wherever we see today to maybe 10x, because today, that if I want to set up a cryptocurrency account, I need to have a MetaMask, I need to have some kind of a learning curve, I need to have some kind of control on the softwares, and I must know how to operate those. But the moment we move into the CBDC world, where central bank, just like El Salvador, will say that, okay, here is my Bitcoin is my legal tender, then that barrier will also become that barrier will be gone. And then our banks, the banks we deal today, will become the custodial of the asset itself. Because now the current savings or time fixed deposit account I have open in the bank, I can use that money to invest into the real world asset, and then bank can become the custodial itself. So this is where the evolution, at least we see going. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think there is a question in the chat box. What are the main requirements, amendments that needs to be made in the technical and legal environment in the Islamic countries in order to promote the investments in the cryptocurrencies? And I think promote Islamic cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I think this is the first question. The second question, how to ensure that the investments in cryptocurrency are utilized according to the Sharia and halal sectors. And third question, what are the models that can be used to compare the rate of return from the cryptocurrencies in comparison to the other forms of investments? Brother Fahad, Yeah,
Sure, I
these
can
questions.
go ahead. I can take that. Yeah, I can take this question. So if you can little bit repeat the last piece, rather than
The last question, what are the models that can be used to compare the rate of return from the cryptocurrencies in comparison to other forms of investments?
Yeah, so it is not, it's not different as we evaluate any stock today. So let's say if Muthu Fahad Adam or Badr Afzal asked me today that Fahad, I want you to go to the stock market and I want you to first pick up only Sharia compliant stocks, and I want you to do valuation of each stock and recommend me the top five. So this exercise will be same. Now, keep in mind, when we come into the blockchain or cryptocurrency world, it's very tricky. So we have to understand the underlying use of that token. It's very important that is it like really Sharia compliant or not. The problem is that most of the cryptocurrency, as Mufti Farhad Adam has rightly said, we don't know what they are up to, what they are going to do tomorrow. So I would play safe and I would only go for anything which is real world asset first. And then I will see that is it really Sharia compliant or not. If it is Sharia compliant, then I will ask their white paper. And so just in Mabruk, for example, inshallah, when you're going to see the project, the first project, we're going to share the Excel sheet, the numbers, which will be calculating the ROI and the IRR of the asset itself for the 5-year projections. So you will see that what that asset is doing first year, what is doing second, third, fourth, fifth year. And then let's say if we are planning to sell that asset to other set of investors, then you will see in the 6th year what is the price we have or what are the number we have input. And that number input will be tied up to the historical performance of the alike assets. So we'll have like, okay, this Mercedes, 5 years, let's see how it was used. So we will go and look for the last 5 years of the 100 Mercedes. And then we're going to say, okay, we are rolling out another new Mercedes, and this is our plan for next 5 years. And we're going to match that performance with the historical, because Islamically, we are not allowed to speculate anything. We can just give you historical and we can give you where market is heading. And the rest is something you decide, just like a fixed deposit account.
Yes. About second question. Second question was how to ensure that the investments in cryptocurrency are utilized according to Sharia. So I think these are the questions same as was before, like about Sharia board, the role of Sharia board. And
it's very important to have Sharia board. And I think a couple of years back, when me and Mufti Fazal, we were talking about some other topic, it was, we see that especially the fintechs which are existing today, um, everybody needs to understand that the Sharia supervisory board come first, not the last. So even you start building your technology, you have to have at least one Sharia advisor with you. You cannot just go ahead and then start building anything without a Sharia supervisor, because as a human like me, with so many defects, I would say that I know everything and it's a technology, right? What Sharia has to do with it. But no, even from point A to B, if you are going, even if it is a customer onboarding and the question you are asking from the customer, Sharia has to review that. The other side, you are rolling out and you have a marketing communication going on. All those marketing communication with the photographs, they have to be reviewed by the Sharia. You cannot have Sharia coming in middle. So Sharia board is very important. That's my recommendation to everybody.
okay, and what are the main requirements and amendments that needs to be made in legal environment in Islamic countries to promote investments in cryptocurrencies?
This is a very maybe Mufti Fraz Adam can also chime in here, but for me, on this slide you are going to receive there is one regulation called MiCA, MICA. It is a regulation for it's a just like GDPR, data security in Europe. The MiCA regulation kicks in this year already. I think in February, and they have a phase. So I would ask everybody to go and read about MiCA regulation. The PDF is available on the Eurobank website. Now, what legislation should be there? First, it could be, I would say CBDC, the central bank digital currency. They can any government can start from there. Then there has to be a regulation change in the regulatory environment. So let's say central bank, the UAE, is already far ahead with that. So what are the do and don'ts of the cryptocurrency? So for example, one country could say that I would not accept anything which is not asset based or asset backed, not asset based, asset backed. So that could be one of the regulations. So it's an evolving landscape, and yeah, it's just like start something in Brazil. Just to share with everybody, yesterday, I spoke to a couple of government officials. So what they are doing is that they are allowing 10% of your, for example, equity can be tokenized today, but they're not allowing more than that. Then there's another flip side that if it is intangible, then they have different laws. So they are still learning, they are adjusting. So start from somewhere and go from there.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to inform that dear Mufti Faras had to leave before because he had another session, another meeting. So he couldn't continue in our webinar. So if there is other questions, maybe from the visitors, inshallah, you can address. I know there is some attendance with visitors from countries like Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. One of them is Sharia scholars here, sitting here. And interesting to note that the countries we are representing, Central Asian countries, are really in the process of digitalization of its economy, and especially these countries are really rich for gold reserves, and I think those countries can be can use cryptocurrencies to successfully digitalize those assets or make them on chain. Like gold reserves can be done on chain.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, the most is the future trend is the how to make their assets on chain. And another trend is, I think, the usage of zakat, blockchain zakat for zakat, because people in population in our Muslim countries, Muslim populated countries, they have a tremendous amount of zakat payments, and how to make those zakat payments deliver those payments to the other parts of the world, to the people who in need, or in the war zones. I think where this is where Islamic cryptocurrency can be successfully applied. So if you have questions, dear Fahad, Afzal, we need to say that at the moment about if I'm not mistaken, about 2 countries have already adopted cryptocurrencies as a means of exchange and to buy and sell goods in their countries, like El Salvador and Central African Republic. And there is a real possibility that other Islamic countries can also adopt this experience and use their own Islamic cryptocurrencies for the monetary market. And these are the real prospects of the development of the Islamic economic countries with Islamic economy. And I think this is also is useful for the exchange of goods between those Islamic countries, because now we don't have a real, fiat money is losing their intrinsic value. We see that how inflation hits them very fast, and how fiat money is also unstable in the world. As we see the US dollar also collapsing, and a lot of companies in USA itself, they're taking their money from financial markets and they're selling their securities. So everything is not unstable in the world, except the real assets, and assets which are back to real asset, to the utilities which has a value. So I think that to end up our session, to end up our webinar, we need to say that this is a very promising area. We need to develop all the Sharia scholars, including industry players, bankers, that in future we can use all these instruments and tools for development of Islamic economic countries where the Islamic economy exists, and to develop a sustainability in those countries. Thank you very much. It was really interesting speech and sessions today. Thank you for your presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Inshallah.
Thank you very much
Assalamu
for participating.
alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And Eid Mubarak, everybody. Thank you.